Hey guys, just thought I would show you, like I said I would, quickly my garden, my herbs and chilies. I've been growing this now for 8 weeks. Right. Yes. This is my 8-week update, weekly thingy-majigger. I do a video on my garden every week so that I can see the progress, see where I'm going with everything, and yep, that's pretty much it. Although I have actually failed to mention to myself a few things I should point out, but I'll point out now, such as how much sun everything's getting and how much water, though I don't really measure specifically. But anyway, get to it before I keep rambling on. So here we have some tarragon, which I don't really use very much, and it doesn't really seem to have very much flavour, so I haven't really, I put it in things, but you don't really taste it very much, and that needs to be picked off. I've got to pick quite a few things this afternoon and take them into work. This is coriander, which I like on rice and not as much pasta, but it's really awesome in fried rice and Thai dishes and soups and things. And that would be a lot bigger if I hadn't already picked it a fair bit, but I'm not sure why it's sort of like the flowers, well, not flowers, the leaves are a bit different on the top now that I've been picking it, because when I pick it I sort of pick it off just like that and it sort of grows a different shape. These are chives, which I had from last year, and they just grew up without me having to plant them. There's a weed. And this is, I think that's that's pennyroyal, which I had in this pot also last year. And there's apple mint that grows up quite regularly and I have to pick out. It's really hard to get rid of. Anyway, moving on. This is garlic, which I got from my grandma's house. She's got quite a lot out there. I haven't actually used any of that yet though, so I'm not quite sure of its quality, but I'm sure it would taste awesome. This mint I need to pick this afternoon so we can take it into work, but it's looking a little dry, but only a little bit. And so this is normal mint. This is after dinner mint, which just tastes like the little chocolates sometimes you get at some restaurants or at hotels or whatever. It smells awesome. This is pineapple sage, which I haven't really tried yet, but it smells like pineapple, kinda. This parsley sort of looks a bit mongolated at the moment.
Hello, so this is the week 6 video, even though it's a couple days late. It's now Tuesday morning, but here we are. This has gotten pretty big. Sort of. I don't know how big these are supposed to get. I assume they're supposed to, I don't know, get pretty big, but that's nice. The coriander's big enough to probably actually start picking now, which is good. These mints and sage that have been a bit dry because I haven't watered them much in the last few days. We had rain though, but obviously we didn't quite get a lot of rain, so I probably should have watered them. But here we go, there's the parsley. It's looking monstrous. If you look around the place, you can actually see some life in there. Let's see if I can find some.
It keeps going out of focus. Let's see what I can do here. There's a spider there. There's a few other spiders around inside, but it's actually gotten really thick now, so it's hard to see inside of it. But you get the idea. Be a good place for spiders to live. That's gotten pretty big. Oh, it's getting there. It gets a lot bigger than that. Time has lost a lot of its flowers, sort of. Or at least it's not quite as vibrant as it was. Curry plant's gotten a little bigger. I think it's going to get probably about double that size, triple maybe, before it flowers. Might not even flower this year, because, well, we're nearly already past spring, and spring is when everything flowers, so I don't know. That chamomile plant, I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep that. I might pull that out and put something else in there, because I don't use it. I thought I probably would, but it doesn't really taste as like chamomile much. So if I want chamomile tea, I'm probably just better off buying some that are already done and it's already dried and whatnot. The spring onions are beautiful. I've been using them, as you can see. I've been cutting them off, but I need to use them more because they're pretty damn right to use now. These grasses, I'll see if I can plant this morning. Yeah, they look like they're wanting a bit of a drink, but I don't really want to water them at this time. So a lot of the water would probably just evaporate anyway. But I'll make sure I water everything really well tonight. And the chilies are looking really good. Starting to see... Oh, what's this? I don't know what that is, but that's interesting. That just looks like grass. But you can see that the... I don't know if you can see because yeah, here we go. It's hard to see into the screen. The sun's glaring on it. There. Those have already popped up, so shouldn't be too long, and we'll maybe a couple more weeks and we'll start to see some fruit. These two habaneros on the left here, well, the three on the left, are looking a lot healthier than the ones on the right. Those three are a bit smaller, but these ones are looking healthy. The leaves are a bit wider and can gather more nutrients. That one actually might even survive now, because it sort of looks alright. That one I think gets too much sun, so it's not going to survive there. This one looks like it's going to do well. And that's week 6, y'all. Because it was going to seed, and some bits of it still are, but it's good. But it was massive. It was like this tall, even taller, like twice as tall as it is now. Over here, I have thyme, and a lot of the flowers had gone on that, but it was...
Welcome to week 3 of the herb and chili garden. Let me show you around. This is what our thyme looks like. I don't know if you can really tell, it still looks white in the camera, but in real life I can see more of a ultraviolet hue to it.
A few weeks ago, it looked quite vibrant, and maybe while I'm editing this I'll show you. But this whole garden patch gets about 8 or 9 hours of sun every day, because all this stuff likes full sun. Over here, I have some rosemary, but I need to move it because it's not getting really any sun and isn't growing. And the flowers have sort of died off, but yeah, I'm going to transplant that somewhere over there or somewhere over there. Over here I've got a curry plant, which sort of tastes a bit like an Indian curry, like, you know, turmeric and cumin and all that sort of stuff. Sorta. It's not exactly like that, and it's supposed to grow like maybe double the size or a bit bigger and have yellow flowers on it. Should look nice, but I don't know about this pot. Might not be big enough. This is a type of chamomile which I'm gonna probably get rid of because I tried it and it doesn't really taste much like the tea that I was hoping for. So I'd be better off just getting tea bags if I want tea. These shallots, I have more of them than I can pretty much use. I have some every day and it still hasn't really gone. But I love them with my rice and pasta or fried, like scrambled eggs or whatever. This is basil and it looks a bit yellow. I'm not actually sure if it's just plain basil because it has a really lemony scent to it. Like, more so when you chop it up, you can really, I don't know, you get lemon fragrance more than basil. It's kind of strange. This is chives. These are oregano, and they're all a bit purple, but I don't know. Might need some. I have to get some sea salt, which I've actually got up on the deck and spray it. It's due this week. These are jalapenos. 3 jalapeno plants, which are actually flowering. This one is anyway. So in another few weeks I'll have some fruit. And this I think is a pumpkin plant because I've had plenty of I've had heaps of these come up actually, like probably a few dozen, because of me putting pumpkin seeds and whatnot in the soil, just as compost, just garden scraps, because I like to make a lot of pumpkin soups and stuff, so I've got always plenty of that left over. These are my habanero chilies, 6 of them, and if you notice, every second one is big, like this. It's bigger than that one, and that one, you can sort of see that it's like that because the smaller ones I had over there, and they get quite a bit of sun during the day, and they were drying out too much, I think, because these black terracotta pots take up a lot of water, and I have to keep them well watered because they like water. But I've moved them over here and they've grown a little better since. So, but yeah, they're looking pretty nicely. These plants over here aren't herbs or chilies, but these are all suckers I got from out at my grandma's place. This one, that one, I'm hoping will make it, maybe, but the other 2 I got died, I'm pretty sure. But those plants are the same as this plant here with the purple and white flowers on it. And this plant itself actually came from the same spot, came from the same plant as what the ones down there have. This one came out from my grandma's as well. So I think that about wraps it up. Also have some potatoes growing out at my grandma's place, which I'll show you. I'll put some footage from the weekend, or this weekend. Got quite a few plants popping up. And hope you like my mow for Movember. It's pretty irritating, sort of, getting used to it. All the guys at work are doing it. If I shave, then I'm going to get slapped. Not that I really care about getting slapped, but you know, it's all fun. Wanted an excuse to grow one for quite a while. Thought about growing a whole beard, but I think that'd be way too irritating. But a mow I can deal with. Looks pretty seedy though. But But yeah, now I'm gotta water my plants and pick them so I can take herbs into work tomorrow. It's going to be quite busy tomorrow for Melbourne Cup Day, but it's all good. Yeah. Now I'm just Another thing I forgot to mention was these plants here probably get about 9 or 10 hours a day of sun, maybe. Not actually certain. But those 3 plants were there, and they were only getting about 4, maybe 5 hours a day of sun, and that's not really enough for something that likes full sun. So I moved it over here, and it gets about an hour or 2 extra in the morning, meaning about 6 hours-ish a day. Maybe 5. Maybe 7. But looking at them, they could probably do with even more than that. So I may move them. Although these basil plants are a bit small, because I have been picking them pretty regularly, because I love basil. These jalapenos get probably 9 hours. They're one of the first things in the garden to get sun. So the sun just goes down from there. Yeah, so the sun goes like that. And those habaneros down there, the ones on the right get... yeah, I'm not going to say anything because I'm not actually sure. Or I'd guess at around 9 or 10 hours a day. And the ones on the left side get a couple, like about an hour or 2 less, because the shed gives them a bit of shade. But and this is how I water too. I always water with a watering can. I've got the hose, but it's a bit shit. And I like this method because it helps me regulate how much water I'm giving my plants. I can see exactly how much water is going into it, and if I'm watching how the water level is going down each time, then I can regulate it. The only thing is, you don't really need to worry too much about exactly how much water you're giving plants. If the soil has really good drainage, so that it doesn't become water bound, then you're not really going to have much trouble, because the water will just keep going down. It'll just sink down below, and the roots of the plants will get how much water they need. And one trick I have with this is to minimize runoff, is I sort of build a bit of a moat around here, because you notice when you first put water on plants, the water doesn't really have much penetration, and then when the soil becomes saturated on the surface, the water sinks down a lot quicker. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I imagine it would have something to do with the viscosity of water. Having to, once it's got a path through, it just sort of follows itself. But then, yeah, if you do something like this, all the water goes straight to the roots. You don't have to worry about... because it was a few weeks before I even sort of thought of this idea. I'd put it on here, and because the soil was tilted down, most of the water would run off to these edges, and that's really kind of pointless. So I came up with this method, and it works really well. And another thing, I'll show you another trick, is with these plants over here, because plants with deep roots, you need to sort of water them slowly and for a bit longer. So what I do is oh yeah, it's kind of worked. Although I don't really need to do it with this plant, but see how you can balance the watering can? I just sort of like fill it up and leave it there and go off, do something else, come back, fill it up again and do another plant. Works well. See, that's what would happen. So you need to sort of build up this moat around it, and then that doesn't happen. But I will actually demonstrate to you what I meant about the penetration of water. I'm pretty sure I probably explained it well enough for you to understand, but I'll show you what I mean with this plant where you can see most of the soil. So look, if I run it fairly fast this way, it goes off and runs off the edge like that. It doesn't really go in. If I let it settle, and now I can water it just as fast. I'm hoping it'll work. Yeah, I'm watering it just as fast, but all the water is going straight down. Yeah, when you've got lots of plants like this, to save water, save time, I guess you probably figured it out, but what I do is do a little bit, so on and so forth across all of them, and wet the surface, and then by the time I get to the end, I come back to this one and I can water it properly, and I don't have any runoff.